Hi, folks. This is Mr. Wallace, your driver education instructor, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of our online driver education course. Okay, so everything is in Google Classroom to begin with. So your students will need an email in order to access the class, and once they do, they will see all the coursework laid out right here in our classroom. So you can see we have breakout room discussions, attendance questions, our lessons, which is kind of the meat of the course. We'll have 16 of those. Quizzes, 15 quizzes that go along with the lessons. The final one is the final exam. We also have videos that go with each lesson as well. Some of these are embedded in our lessons, in our lectures. I don't want to call them lectures because they do. It's not just me preaching to the students. The students are also taking part and also involved in group discussion. But anyway, we have videos for each of the lessons too. A lot of these videos are ways to teach parents how to work with their teens in the car. Okay, so these videos are incredibly supportive for the parent instructor. Okay, and they're wonderful for the students themselves. Any one of them that is labeled CHOPS is for our parents to use to help instruct their teen drivers. Okay. After all the videos, so there's going to be around 15 of them, we also have our parent-teen driving log. So a sample of that would look just like this. Okay, so here's our parent-teen driving log, and there are quite a few rules that go into this. There's a rubric that goes along with it. But this is what as a parent, this is what you would be filling out with your student as you do drives with them. On top of that, we have, our syllabus. We have some parent guidance and parent checklist, as well as a welcome letter. And then we have quite a few New York State documents that will be useful, if not necessary, for your child's continued driving and safe driving. Okay, so just to kind of take a look at what one of these would look like. So a breakout room discussion is usually at the beginning. Let's take a look at one of these, for example. A breakout room discussion would present the students with a situation and have them review the situation and decide how they would proceed in a situation similar to this. Now, while they're doing a breakout room, I'm also having them do an attendance question so that I can take attendance while they're in their discussion. So a good one would be, for example, how many hours have you completed in total? So they're always going to get an attendance question, and they have a multiple choice answer to that attendance question. They fill it out. We take a look at it after in a little bit. We see where everyone is. We get to discuss it if we need to. And it helps me kind of just get some more kind of general sense of where our students are and how they're doing in the course. Okay. And then if we look, for example, at the lessons themselves, we'll see, for example, let's go to our minimizing, for example. And I really like this one right here. Okay. And driving in different environments, for example, and they will, it is in Google Slides format. Okay. It goes through different scenarios with the students, and it teaches them how to do certain things, like, for example, merging onto a highway, for example, using one of our acronyms that is common for driver education, which means signal, mirrors, observe, and go. and how to apply this for our very, very important defensive driving perspective. Okay. And the entire course, ladies and gentlemen, is done through the lens of defensive driving, becoming excellent defensive drivers. Okay. So that would be what a lesson, this would be what a lesson would look like. Okay. And so, for example, they're given certain scenarios, for example. Let's take a look at at this scenario, for example, and I'm just going to put it into present mode here. So, we have a situation. This is how I have my students talk to me when we're in the car. Mr. Wallace, we have a situation. Okay, tell me what the situation is. Okay, we have a work zone coming up. Okay, what are we going to do about that? Here we are driving along, right? We're going to have to minimize, which means to move over without changing speed. And how are we going to do that? Okay, we're going to use smog. What's that mean? That means signal mirrors, observe, go. Great. Okay. So that would be a scenario for them to discuss together. Okay. Another one here, right? So what do we do when we have a parked car and an oncoming vehicle? What can we expect, right? We should be able to anticipate. This is part of what we call SIPD, which is search, identify, predict, decide, and execute. And so this is the foundation of defensive driving. And how can we anticipate what's going to happen and what do we need to do, right? And so that would be an example. In this car, they would expect us to do exactly that. So again, brief overview of what we do in our online driver education course. Now, this can always be applied directly to the classroom as well, when and if we enter the classroom again. And on top of that, for our parents, I have created for our course an entire library of videos that go along with each one of our lessons, okay, as well as other videos on top of that. So if we go to, for example, if you go to our playlist, Mr. Wallace driver educate or mr.wallace.driver.ed at YouTube, you'll be able to access all these videos. Okay, and we have a playlist for each part of the course, right? So end of the course material, beginning of the course material, adverse conditions. That's lesson number 9. I actually did that one last night. And you can see we do have quite a few videos that go along with these. And we're about to populate the parent one very soon. Okay, and these lessons, these videos not only cover, for example, what the parents want to do as far as instructing their child in the car. They also focus on different aspects of driving in general. All right. So with that in mind, one last thing I did not mention were the quizzes. So if I go back to our classwork and I take a look at the quizzes usually follow the same it goes along with the lessons itself. Okay, so if we took a look at it, it would look something like this. Student, for example, would need to watch the video and then answer the questions. And the quiz itself allows me, as the instructor, to see a lot of different parts of this. Okay, I can see who, where our range of scores, for example. I can see who did what. Here's our range right there. And we can see, for example, I can look at each question and see where we had problematic questions. These look pretty solid right now. Okay, here's a problematic one where we had 17 plus 11. We had 28 students, or around 50 or around 44%, 43% of our students get the wrong answer. So this would be a question, for example, that I want to review in class the next day. All right. So that's our program. I thank you for watching the entire thing. And I'm always available for questions or comments. Thank you.